Hey everybody, my name is Kalle Slaap and I'm a watchmaker from the Netherlands, and this video is about replicas and how to see it is a replica, how to recognize them. Replica, heritage, homage, fake watches, just about all the same. I want to talk about non-original watches because we do so much about vintage watches. Non-original is a better term. I was advised not to touch the subject because it is so controversial. Everybody's got an opinion. Fake watches are illegal, simple as that. We don't repair them, we don't touch them. On the other hand, it can be an introduction for people into watchmaking, into being enthusiastic about watches in the first place, even with a small budget. So it is controversial, everybody's got an opinion, so do I. And even cheap replicas, you can build a case that Swatch is building cheap replicas of their own moon watch with the moon swatch. So it's a touchy subject, but I want to help you in the jungle of fake watches. And I want to make this small clip because, well, Chronoglide YouTube channel, I want to give the full scope of watchmaking, and this is part of it. As you can understand, it is completely impossible to give all the telltale signs of all brands, of all models of those brands, undoable. At the end of this clip, I give you some tips when buying watches, and well, give you well, at least a fighting chance to pick out the fakes and the replicas and the non-originals. In this clip, you will see now, I give some examples from our own workshop, and we just picked just a few, but I think it was fun to show you these. And again, at the end, I will give you some tips and tricks. So hope you enjoyed this clip. See what this is, because I can tell you it isn't a Panerai. If I'm perfectly honest, there are some details, but if you watch this dial, it would have given me a run for my money. The hand seems okay. Well, especially with the naked eye, I thought, well, yeah. And then I had a look at the movement. And at first glance, well, it says Panerai. Tonight I would like to show you what to look for and how to identify replicas and fake ones, and just a few tips and tricks when you what to think of when you buy a watch. There's the crown, and there you wind the watch. Simple. But if you have a closer look, I find it fascinating. There is a ruby not doing anything, which is a bit strange. And here we have rubies without pivots. And just the overall look. And if you have a closer look, even without magnification, just without a loop. There is an alarming lack of screws. There are only 2 screws. The revelation. This makes it an, well, fake Panerai. But then underneath there is still perlage. And I must say, this is the way a real Panerai does the perlage as well. It only does spaces where you can see it and leaves out parts where you don't see it. Release the power in the mainspring. And maybe you still can have a look why it isn't running. There's something. What's that? I think I found the reason why it wasn't running. But I'm really not sure what it is. It seems like... What is it? Maybe rubber-like stuff. It's just a rubber seal. There's only one trick in fakes and replicas. And the biggest trick is you can easily spot a fake when you are familiar with the real one. And the problem here in our workshop, when people just hand me the Rolex like this, you can hear it's a fake immediately. But then I have to convince the owner, which is convinced that it's a real one, that it isn't. You have to build a case. Well, the only thing you can do is just open it, and even though you're not a watchmaker, you can see it immediately. If you buy a vintage watch, a new watch, or you want to spend your money, please ask the seller, can you open it? Or the jeweler, or whatever you do. Some fakes are so hard to spot. But if you have a peek at the movement, then you know enough. I don't have to tell you why this isn't a Rolex. You immediately see if it's a Rolex, even if you're not a watchmaker or an experienced collector. No, just open it and you know immediately. This Rolex just isn't right. It's just the print. This is just not the right dimensions. This is a bit deeper. The print is not okay. But if you are familiar with the real one, then you immediately pick out the fakes. And another one that I love and we use for students here, Cycle 5. But then you have a look at the case back and then you think, well, look at this. I think this is spectacular that you put in so much effort. Again, even if you're not a watchmaker or have any experience, beautiful, right? You still have to print a watch dial and you still have to make a watch case and stuff like that. It's just I love this stuff. And it is Indian, you're absolutely right. Truly, this owner was amazed that it wasn't a Panerai. Well, it got a central second hand. Oh, he was so sad. I'm not even going to comment on this one because it's so obvious. And this one, Omega Speedmaster Automatic. And it's got the complete layout of an Valjoux 7751. And it's got a lot of things going on. Here, well, supposedly chronograph, 24-hour hand, GMT. Here the normal second hand, usually the year, month, pointer date, it's all there. And maybe not in the light from the wobbly cam, but the color of the dial is really nice. And then just this. And again, this piece was given to the owner as part of an inheritance, because his grandfather bought this and he was always, oh, look at my Omega. And so he thought it had great value. But I showed him this and he completely knew. And I love the detail of the rust markings on the case back. On the case, it's just so obvious. And this one we use quite a bit for students, because of the weight of this replica, which is crap, but the weight is impressive. And of course, if you are experienced and you've seen many Daytonas, you see this immediately as a fake. But if you're not trained and you haven't seen too many, this one is fooling quite a bit of students over here. Because of the weight and the overall look. Until I open it. And again, there we are. Well, it is automatic, but it is just crap. Always ask, please open the watch. And if somebody says, well, it isn't waterproof anymore, rubbish. If the rubber seals are okay, you can open and close a watch 15 times a day and it still be waterproof. Rubbish. And again, you don't have to be a trained watchmaker to spot the crap. This is my favorite. Tiny Vas, very nice dial, decentralized second hand, anti-magnetic. And then we have a closer look. It just seems like a Longines, but it isn't. People came here for repair, and if you have a closer look, then you say, okay, maybe it's not a Longines. Well, it never says it was a Longines. Super deluxe, well, okay, maybe. And then 21 medals. Oh, no jewels, medals. I don't know what 21 medals means, but okay, could be. And then there's the anti-magnetic. And then Swiss model, not Swiss made. So it isn't doing anything wrong, and I love that. I really do. Same here. It doesn't say it's gold. Okay, it looks like, and electronically timed, could well be. Water protected. Yeah, it isn't waterproof, but it is water protected. So yeah, maybe not. I love this. Look at this. Shelton vintage super deluxe for the collector. $165 US. And again, it isn't doing anything wrong, but it is crap. Specially inspected. Well, who doesn't want to be specially inspected? And electronically timed. But for only 165 US, that is insane. $150 US for this. I don't mind confessing that this watch tricked me as well. When it came in, I thought, well, 21 jewels in my head. Okay, it's Swiss, must be. And then I played with the crown, and then it felt quite horrible. And it's still being sold for $150 US. It's just completely insane. Well, I do hope you enjoy that. I want to give you some tips on how to recognize the fakes and the non-originals. First things first, the movement is the most important bit of any watch. The engine. If you buy a Ferrari, the engine is the star of the show. The rest is beautiful, nice design, but the engine is it. Same in watches. The movement is the most important bit of any watch. What we see quite a bit here is Rolex with an original case, original bracelet, original dial, but maybe sometime there was some rust in the movement and they put in a cheap, simple movement. Completely impossible to find or to see just from the outside. And then, yeah, most of it is original, some of it not. It is a jungle out there. Few tips and tricks. Always ask to see the movement. If it's a Rolex, maybe a fake Rolex or any vintage watch, ask to see the movement. That's the star of the show. That is the value of your watch. If a salesman refuses to show you the inside, run, Forrest, run, something is wrong. And if they say, well, it isn't waterproof anymore after that, complete BS. If the seal is okay, you can open and close it 15 times a day and it still will be waterproof. So always check the movement, star of the show. Do your homework. If you want to purchase a watch, you have to compare the thing you are trying to buy with the original. So go to a jeweler's, check on YouTube online, check photos, check pictures, what should it look like? And then you can have comparison at what you're trying to purchase. Simple as that. As always, not only in watches, if it's too good to be true, it is too good to be true. Yeah, simple as that. I don't even have to explain. Then another tip, check the serial numbers, Google the serial numbers, because you do not want to buy a stolen watch. Even if you want to sell it afterwards, it will kill the value if the next person is going to Google the serial numbers. That is important. The last tip is trust your gut feeling. Because replica watches or non-original watches, they usually use different materials. So the sound and the feel of a watch, it is important. And due to the different materials being used, trust your gut feeling. If the sound is cheap of your bracelet and the feel just isn't right what you're used to, step away. Simple as that. And if you think, well, you're not sure of your case, ask a professional. Go to a jeweler's and ask if they want to check the inside of a watch and help you advise. Most jewelers only ask a couple of dollars and that will be it. So I hope that was helpful. Again, it is a jungle out there, but well, I try to give you a fighting chance. Hope to see you soon. Please give me some comments. I really value your comments. I want to learn your experience in vintage watches and if you ever encountered a fake. Again, see you soon. See ya. Bye bye.